The following is a HennessyHendo production. It includes excerpts and material from my vast collection of books and general knowledge. Please share the videos. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel.
A detailed analysis of a clean break, a new strategy for securing the realm, what it is, what it proposed, what got implemented, or not, the criticisms, and its legacy. Part 1. What is a clean break? Title and authors. A clean break, a new strategy for securing the realm is a policy paper prepared in 1996 by a study group led by Richard Perle, among others, for Benjamin Netanyahu upon his election as Prime Minister of Israel. Other contributors included James Colbert, Charles Fairbanks Jr., Douglas Faith, David Wurmser, Mayor of Wurmser, Robert Lovenberg, etc. Affiliation: Institute for Advanced Strategic and Political Studies, IASPS, with the study group on a new Israeli strategy toward 2000. Purpose: to advise the incoming Netanyahu government to make a strategic, clean break from previous Israeli policies, especially land for peace, the Oslo process, and dependence on foreign aid, and to reposition its approach to regional threats. Key proposals, strategic themes. The document includes a number of core recommendations and policy shifts. Key among them: 1. Abandonment of land for peace. Instead of continuing with giving territorial concessions in return for peace treaties, the paper suggests rejecting that framework, arguing that it has weakened Israel politically, militarily, and economically. 2. Emphasis on self-reliance and strength through preemption. The idea is that Israel should no longer passively respond to threats but adopt proactive forms of defense, preemption, taking the initiative where necessary. 3. Shaping the strategic environment, working jointly with states like Jordan and Turkey to contain, destabilize, and roll back hostile neighboring regimes, e.g. Syria, is recommended. Also promote alternatives to leaderships seen as hostile, e.g. Palestinian leadership under Yasser Arafat. 4. Economic reform and less dependence on U.S. aid. Suggests reducing dependency on foreign aid, reforming Israel's economy, privatization, market reforms, and increasing internal strength, economic, societal, as a foundation for strategic resilience. 5. Redefinition of peace strategies. Replace comprehensive peace negotiations with more limited, conditional peace, peace for peace. Using negotiation as a tool of strength rather than as a path to territorial compromise. 6. Aggressive posturing regarding regional threats. For example, regarding Syria, question legitimacy of treaties, strike enemy infrastructure even inside Lebanon, hold Syria responsible for violence emanating from Lebanese territory, etc. Part 2. What was actually adopted or implemented? This is harder to pin down precisely. Some critics, and supporters, argue many of its policy ideas later appeared in Israeli and US policy, though not always explicitly, and often in changed forms. Key areas: stronger rhetoric and military posture against Syria and Hezbollah. Operations in Lebanon and cross-border responses sometimes align with proposals in clean break. The 2003 invasion of Iraq. Some commentators believe themes like regime change, targeting Saddam Hussein, echo clean break's recommendations. Whether Iraq policy was directly derived from it is controversial. U.S.-Israel strategic cooperation and reframing of U.S. aid and political support in terms of shared, Western values, also show overlap with clean break's proposals. But many recommendations, e.g. fully abandoning land for peace, or total economic self-reliance, were never fully realized or were adopted only partially. Netanyahu himself and Israeli policy did not wholly conform to clean break's blueprint. Part 3. Criticisms and controversies. A clean break has been heavily criticized from many angles. Here are major criticisms. 1. Aggressive and unilateral strategy. Critics argue that many recommendations in clean break lean toward confrontational or even expansionist policies, rather than diplomatic or negotiated solutions. This raises risk of escalating conflict. 2. Reliance on proxy warfare and destabilization. Strategies like contain, destabilize, roll back often imply using proxies, covert operations, or selective strikes, all of which can have unpredictable blowback and long-term instability. 3. U.S. involvement and moral, legal implications. Because many of the proposals assume or require strong American support, military, diplomatic aid, there are concerns about sovereignty, ethical responsibility, and the potential of U.S. being drawn into conflicts on behalf of Israeli strategic goals. Some see this as projecting Israeli security concerns onto U.S. foreign policy. 4. Lack of realism, underestimation of consequences. Some argue that clean break underestimates how difficult it is to reshape regional politics, to sustain aggression without retaliation, or to isolate adversaries without broader destabilization, also that the human, diplomatic, and economic costs were glossed over. 5. Transparency and accountability. There's debate over how much influence this document really had and how much it should have. Critics claim that its ideas quietly inform policy without enough public scrutiny, democratic oversight, or debate. Part 4. Legacy and relevance today. Influence on U.S. and Israeli foreign policy. Many see clean break as part of the intellectual background for Israeli strategy under Netanyahu, and also for certain neoconservative elements in the U.S. that pushed for regime change, especially in the Middle East. Fuel for conspiracy theories, because of its aggressive tone and some overlaps, real or perceived, with later events, Iraq War, U.S. interventions, instability in Syria, etc. Clean break is frequently cited in media and political commentary as evidence of long-planned strategic designs. Policy debates. The document is often brought up in arguments for or against proactive, preemptive military strategy versus diplomacy, for evaluating peace versus strength doctrine, for discussions on the role of U.S. foreign aid and alliance dynamics. Conclusion: A clean break is a provocative and influential policy paper. It offers a vision of a more assertive Israeli foreign policy, less constrained by prior peace frameworks and more centered on strength, preemption, and regional shaping. Clear recommendations that diverge markedly from earlier strategies of negotiation and concession. Its real-world impact is mixed. Some policies show echoes of its proposals, others remain unimplemented or partially so. The document remains controversial, both for what it proposes and for how its ideas may have been adopted, or misused, without full public debate. Whether one views it as prescient strategy or dangerous overreach depends greatly on how one values risk versus diplomacy, preemption versus peace, and strategic clarity versus moral and legal costs.
Right, that's the view from the Palestinian side. Joining me now here in the BBC World studio is the former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, who's in London at the moment. Mr. Barak, welcome to BBC World. First, your reaction, having heard what's happened. At least 4 planes have been hijacked, and there may be more.
The world will not be the same from today on. I don't know who is responsible. I believe we will know in 12 hours. Bin Laden sits in Afghanistan. There is a source of
who else
terror.
Can you identify though? Because we're not saying he's responsible for this necessarily.
No, we don't say that he's responsible. Every simple step, crossing borders or going on a plane or on a ship, will become more complicated. It's a time to launch a operational, concrete war against terror, even if it takes certain pains from the routine activities of our normal society. This is the time to deploy a globally concerted effort led by the United States, the UK, Europe, and Russia against all sources of terror. Consistently, along 6 or 10 years, Iran, Iraq, Libya, North Korea. This is the only way. Without this clarity of purpose, there will be no world order, no world.
Thank you for watching. Please share the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Check out other series including 10-minute synopses or complete audiobooks on HennessyHendo on YouTube. Improve your vocabulary. Be more fun at parties. Increase your knowledge. Become a literary master like Hendo.